Excuse me. Excuse me. I don't know if you can hear that, but kill me now. Hi. Welcome back to my channel, or welcome. If this is your first time, I'm Kay, and I am going to be sharing, as you can tell by the title of this video, the 5 worst books that I read this year. And so, let's go ahead and get started. The first book on this list is actually going to be 3 books, and it is the Summer I Turned Pretty trilogy by Jenny Han. So, I read these books over the summer this year, and I read them because I was anxiously awaiting the second season of The Summer I Turned Pretty to come out. And while I was waiting, I said, you know what? Let me just read all 3 books to just know what happens, essentially. Except I've heard that they don't necessarily follow them all the way. I will say what the books did do is change me from Team Jeremiah to Team Conrad. That is about all that I can say that they did, because I absolutely hated these books. They are not good. I discovered upon reading them that the show takes scenes and clips and summers from every single one of these books in the first season. And so immediately I was like, well, what is the second season going to be about if the first season was not the first book? The second season can't be the second book. And so I was a little confused by that. I'm pretty sure it is. I haven't watched it as of yet. So these books actually turned me away from watching the shows. But so basically, Belly talks about her life in summers, because all she cares about is the summer. Nothing else matters. The school year doesn't matter. Her friends during the school year don't matter, because Conrad is so beautiful and she's obsessed with him and in love with him. And that was actually really interesting, and I really liked that in the TV show. And the book honestly was pretty much the same. Like, I really enjoyed her slight obsession with Conrad. I thought it was very accurate to 15-16-year-old Kayla, and so why not? My problem with these books was that Belly was so selfish and conceited and just not realistic. Like, I don't think I ever knew anyone who thought that the entire universe revolved around them and was such a horrible person because of it, because she's just not fun to read. The TV show is very summer vibes, having a good time, cute romancy stuff. And yes, it was just, Belly was annoying to read. She was so annoying to read about. Like, oh my god, she was so unrelatable and frustrating. And if you haven't read the books, just watch the TV show, because it took the best parts from the books. Moving along. So the second book on this series is going to be One Italian Summer by Rebecca Soule. I actually read this book in a 24-hour readathon that I never posted because I didn't like any of the clips that I made. But let me talk about this. This book was terrible. I gave it 1 star, and I would give it 0 if I could. I should have DNF'd it, but I was filming that readathon, so I didn't. Because this book is about a woman named Katie whose mother has passed away, and she was going to go to Italy with her mom to Positano, and so she goes by herself on this trip, and while there she meets her mom at her age, from when she had gone to Positano before she had Katie, and she has to spend the summer with her mom and just hang out with her and have a good time. And I was so excited for this book because I loved the idea of that. I was excited to see how someone would process grief like that and what it would be like. My problem with this book is that Katie is the worst person to read about. She is so, like, I don't even know what the word is. Katie believes that she was the love of her mom's life, and her mom was the love of her life. And Katie is married, and I couldn't imagine being married to someone and being told that my life is over, the love of my life is dead, my mom, and so I don't care. I'm leaving you, because I can never be happy ever again, because my mom is dead. And I couldn't imagine being so fucking conceited as to think that I was the love of my mom's life, and that my dad, who not me, like this isn't me personally, but like her parents were together and married and happily together. And her mom had cancer, that's how she died, and her dad was there through all of that, and so was Katie. But I couldn't imagine being so fucking conceited as to think that I was it for my mom and that my dad was just there. But that's like how she talks about her mom. She's like, no, like my dad was just there, but like my mom and I were like, we were like it for each other. And I can't fathom being so selfish as to think that I was her entire universe. It just doesn't, oh, it was such a terrible read. It gave icky vibes. Like I felt icky after reading it. Like she felt like, it was gross, okay? It was not a good time. I had high hopes for this book and I left it absolutely like disgusted. Okay. So the third book on this list is The Promise by Katrina M. Gray. This is a poetry book. Yep, that's it. It's a poetry book. There's no like overall theme of all of the poems. Every single poem is completely different from every other poem. There's no common theme. There's no common message, none of that. It's not good poetry. Like props to her for publishing her poetry. I could never. I've written 2 poems in my life. They will never see the light of day, but it wasn't good. I'm not a huge poetry person, but I was an English minor. Like I've taken like 2 semester classes that were just reading and analyzing and like talking about poetry. I do know what good poetry looks like when I see it, and this wasn't that. And so, yeah, this was a 1-star read because, I mean, if you're gonna write a poetry book, it has to be good poetry. Don't even waste your time. So the 4th book on this list is going to be Bow Before the Elf Queen, J.M. Cole. And I've already talked about this book on this channel, so I'm not going to get too deep into it. This is about Layala and Thane. It's a romance, and Layala was assigned to Thane as a mate as a baby, and she was then kidnapped and whisked away because she was going to be treated poorly because she was one of the few people in the world to have magic. And then she is found by Thane, and this is a story of her going back with Thane to the Elven Kingdom because his father has passed away, and his father was one of the people that was going to treat her poorly, but now that he's like dead, there's not an issue with that. Problem is that she doesn't like Thane, and so she like sort of falls in love with him on this journey, but also like kind of not. It's like a fine book. I've read better with similar plots, and so yeah, it was just okay. Like I was fine with it, but I wasn't like, also the writing was pretty mid. So the 5th and final book on this list is going to be Corrupt by Penelope Douglas. I don't remember what I rated this, but upon thinking about it right now, if it's not 1 star on my Goodreads, I'm going to switch it because this was a terrible book. So, this book is about Erica, who goes by Rika, gross, Michael, who is the brother of Erica's boyfriend. It might be Erica's ex-boyfriend. And basically, in high school, Erica hung out with Michael and his brother, that I can't remember the name of, and all of his friends. Michael and his 3 friends are all like hooligans, hoodlums, whatever. And every Halloween they wear masks and go around and terrorize the town because fun. And they literally commit crimes like burn things to the ground, arson type terrible crimes against the community because they think that's funny, and for shits and giggles they do it. And that's not even the worst part of this book. But so Erica joins them in high school one day as like a 16-year-old girl, and they're in college, so yay. So she joins them on Devil's Night, and then something happens, and basically they all go to prison except for Michael. And this book largely takes place in present day when the 3 friends have gotten out of prison, and the 4 of them decide that they're going to terrorize Erica. And terrorize her they do, burn down her family home, steal every single penny that she has, make her fail classes in college. You name it, they do it. And so, but she like ends up, like, it's a romance, so she gets with Michael. And I just cannot fathom getting together with someone who burns down your family home, who like embezzles all of your money, who, you know, is like a horrible person to you for like 3/4 of the book. He treats you like garbage and ruins your life completely, shatters everything about it. And then you find out there's like, I don't know, whatever happens. I know what happens, but I don't want to spoil it. But suddenly it's all okay. And you guys can be together now? Excuse you? He just like you can't unburn her house down. You can give her money back, sure. But like her family home burnt to the ground by them. You can't turn back time and fix that. But it's just okay. I can't fathom it. Like, I can't. It was so bad. So yeah, don't read these books. Or do. Tell me what your worst book of the year was. Maybe I'll read that. Maybe I can start out next year by reading like the worst books of other people, right? Maybe I like them. Maybe I don't like them. Who knows? But if you like this video, give it a like, subscribe, and yeah, have a nice day.